Essentially the end to the New England dynasty. They get ousted at home by Tennessee. Mike Vrabel goes in there and gives them a heavy dose of run game, and it led to a win for Tennessee. They move on. But it also means Tom Brady is without a contract. Mark Kaboly, I want you to look into this now. He is 42. He said he would unlikely think of retirement, although you never know. He said there are a lot of things yet to be worked out. Where do you see Tom Brady next year?
Well, San Diego would be a nice place, right? I mean, a little bit south of where he grew up in San Francisco, but if they were willing to get rid of Phillip Rivers, why not? He's going to be somewhere. I mean, we heard a lot of people talking about that on Saturday, that he's not going to go out like this, and I truly believe that. He's not going out by throwing a pick six. He's going to go and make some money somewhere else, and I can't see why he wouldn't go to somewhere like San Diego. That's the place that if they move on from Phillip Rivers, I think that would be a perfect fit.
Why does it have to be somewhere else? Why can't he just make money in New England?
Yeah, how about that?
Well, did you happen to see the rest of their roster? They need some upgrades, and upgrades cost money.
I see what they have as a roster every year in San Diego and Los Angeles, and it very rarely manifests.
You guys got a team in San Diego here.
Did I say San Diego?
Yeah. Only 4 times.
I only call it San Diego, Ron. You know
Well,
that.
that's how much power Brady has. He's going to go to the Chargers and move him back to San Diego again. That's how influential he is. I think he goes back to Foxborough. I think this is a lot of smoke and bluster coming out from New England, as is often the case. There is that element of drama that surrounds that team, as we always talk about in Pittsburgh. It's a different kind of drama usually, but it's always there. There's always that undercurrent. I think he comes back, and I think they surround him with better players if he allows it to happen. He can't take too much. He's always taking a little bit less. He's the second biggest breadwinner in his family, for crying out loud. So he'll probably take a little bit less, and I do think that they surround him with better offensive players. They got a good defense.
He's going to get his center back. He hadn't had him all year. Gronkowski, I think, left him in a real lurch, too. I think he's going to go back to New England as well. I guess maybe I'm rare in this town. I took no joy in to see them go out like that last night, especially him. I feel like I'm watching Babe Ruth play here. I just hope he doesn't hang on the way Namath and Unitas did and embarrass himself. I think it's going to be with New England. To me, he's the greatest of all time, and I consider myself fortunate to have been able to watch him.
Yeah, he at age 43, though, you never know how things are going to go. He needs a cast around him, and I know Antonio Brown has tweeted on Instagram that he would be that missing piece.
That hurt him, Bob, losing
I know it. There's no question it did.
Absolutely.
If he had been there, he would have given him the one thing he didn't have down the field throughout the course of this season. I know. But let's talk about Tennessee, because they go in there and do something that not many people have been able to do. So my question to you, Mark Kaboly, if the Steelers had been the 6th seed, could they have done the same?
No.
They never could.
There was no Derrick Henry. I know that.
Derrick Henry on their team, right?
But I mean,
an offensive line like
it looked like New England was vulnerable. You know, my point is, could they have figured out a way to do it?
The point of the matter is first of all, going to New England would have been in the Steelers' heads before they even got there. It seems like that didn't bother Tennessee whatsoever. And as everybody else said, that mentality of running the ball with Derrick Henry and smashing it down their faces, I think that the Steelers had very limited chance.
Most rushing yards ever against a Belichick team in the playoffs.
This is supposed to be one of the best defenses.
And he's supposed to take him away, and he never took him away.
Yeah, exactly. Just to show you guys like where the mentality of Patriots fans are, I was locked into a Twitter debate with a couple today where they were insisting that it was Belichick's plan to take away the passing game of Ryan Tannehill and Brown, and he gave Derrick Henry his yards. I've heard that before. Let a back get his yards. That's like 95 to 100, not 182. All right, the genius of Belichick, while I do think it exists, is so inflated. If you're trying to convince me that he allowed Derrick Henry to get 182 and 5 yards per carry on purpose,
it's not like
preposterous.
it's not like they. Let some third-string running back the guy led the league in rushing this year, didn't he? I mean, he's a star. There's no way they let him do what he did.
So let me get this straight. Mike Vrabel went into the game plan thinking, you know what? I want Ryan Tannehill to throw into the teeth of the #2 pass defense in football in their 25 interceptions, and I'm only going to give it to Derrick Henry if I'm forced to do it. Stupid.
All right, now
how do you explain 3 losses to former coaches this year, Belichick's former coaches?
Yeah.
They take notes. They know how to
it's funny. I saw a stat, too. They play the division they play in with Buffalo, the Jets, Miami. Everyone says how weak it is. The Patriots were 4-5 in their last 9 games. The worst record in those last 9 games in that division. Think about that for a second.
Now it's time to go round the horn. This week's Smooth Moves, which are brought to you by Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz countertops you're going to find anywhere. That would be Armina Stone. So we asked these guys, give me a smooth move of the week. It could be local, it could be national. Ron, your smooth move.
Congratulations to the 3 Steelers that made All-Pro, not Pro Bowl, All-Pro. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, and Minkah Fitzpatrick. I'm really happy for Cam. The other 2 guys have stats. Cam was just a monster inside, and people don't realize this is the 2nd time he's All-Pro. He made it in 2017 as well.
I'll go with Marcus Weathers, Duquesne forward, who had 25 and 26 points in 2 of his last 3 games, both of which set career highs back-to-back. 13 more today as the Dukes beat Davidson, 2-0 to start an 8-10 play. He's been 19-plus in 5 games in a row, 20-plus 3 of his last 5. He's really having a breakout season for the Dukes.
Well, I'll go back to Foxborough. Mike Vrabel using the Jedi mind tricks on the old Darth Vader of them all, Bill Belichick, by taking that extra minute plus off the clock late in that game. If Belichick wasn't so arrogant and used it a month before that, up 33-0, trying to shove it in Adam Gase's face, maybe Mike Vrabel doesn't even realize that that's a possibility. I would like to see Brady have the ball back with 60, 70 seconds left, ball on the 20-yard line, down with 1, and see if we were talking about how the dynasty ends.
All right, those are the smooth moves of the week. Armina Stone, Pittsburgh's largest supplier of the smoothest granite, marble, and quartz you're going to find anywhere. Check them out. Score a touchdown with Armina Stone. What will the Penguins do in the trade market next?